Hi guys, welcome to the webinar. Just let me get a couple of
check my phone.
Electronic things out of the way, and then we're gonna get started. Okay.
Oh,
cool. So we have Julie, Mike, and Patrice. How are you guys? You can comment in the chat. How's everybody doing today? All right, great. Doing good. Doing great. Excited. Awesome. Well, we're really glad you guys are here. We've got some stuff put together for you. It's going to be really good. It's a lot of what we have done and how we make money with our lists, because it is a longer term strategy and play, but it's really rewarding once you guys get it down. So we really wanted to share all this with you guys. So I'm really stoked you guys are all here. And if you have questions, you can ask them anytime in the chat. Just I'll have it up. So let's get started. Matt's doing, some people need the link that were on the list and didn't get it. So.
Okay.
Cool. All right, here we go. Go over here, close down that. There we go.
I'm glad to see Mike's here. I've been bragging, Mike, about your training to everybody, how awesome it is.
It's good stuff. Really good stuff. We really appreciate it.
Julie knows, Sarah knows. They're in the course.
Okay, here we go. So let's just jump right into it, because I've got a bunch of stuff. We put together a whole bunch of stuff. Matt's like, wow, that's a ton. I was like, yeah, well, I want this to be awesome for people. So Profit Big sourcing lists. That's what we're doing right now. Hi, Jackie. Glad you're here. First off, we just wanted to thank everybody here. Anybody who's here means you guys are on one of our subscription lists, whether it's Arbitrage Finds 25, which is currently full, or Arbitrage Finds Clothes and Shoes, which has some openings currently at the time of filming this. And we really appreciate you guys being here and on them, because it's just so cool. For us, lists changed our lives, right? I mean, we went from Matt being gone a ton and traveling all over to do RA and stuff, and kind of our income just up and down, to being able to systematize it and have a steady flow of income coming in, and being able to make it such a system that someone else does our sourcing. So it literally, this is the stuff that changed our lives. And so I'm so happy you all are here, because I'm really excited to share this with you. All right, so product lists and why they're awesome. So it's all curated right together for you. This is specifically, it has everything you need to make a decision pretty quick. Again, I always do my own due diligence, but it gives you, the buy box price, the rank, the sales estimator. Now that's the sales per month estimated as per Viral Launch Market Intelligence. And then the profit, the ROI, the number of sellers on there. We have, it's got a bunch of information. If there's sales, if there are profitable sizes versus other sizes that aren't, like they've already gone ahead and taken a look at what sizes are profitable. So why else are product lists awesome, honey?
Well, it really just makes it a system. So it just, my mom always used to say, let your fingers do the walking. So it's like, instead of, hustling, going to place to do it, a list are a way that the leads are brought to you. So you can quickly just, go through them. And what I used to do is I just go through list after list after list, go through the leads, pick out the good stuff, and then that would, source it, and then, call it a day. Some days, it'd be shipping, but basically that's essentially what sourcing lists do for you.
Yeah, and we actually, one of our clients, he just sources lists. He doesn't even mess around with tactical arbitrage or anything, just lists. He's lists only. And he sold $100,000 in what month was that?
Well, right,
I haven't talked to him just barely.
Lately it was around 70,000 or so. Yeah. He was on around 6 to 8 lists or so.
Yeah, 70,000. And he sources from his recliner in the evenings, and while his wife does account management. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing that's possible with lists. That's why we love online arbitrage, and that's why we wanted to share this stuff with you.
Yeah, I mean, the advantages with online arbitrage, like especially if you're using a tax-free state, is you don't have to pay sales tax on a lot of those items. And with our prepper, we actually costs us less to have it sent to her versus if we had it sent here to the state of Utah and then shipped it out ourselves.
Yeah, what we pay in taxes is like if I figured this out once. I think it's $12. I was telling people 17, but when I did the math, I didn't think it's incorrect. If the item costs us $12 when we buy it, to ship it to her, since it's tax free, and she costs us 91 cents an item to send stuff in, and that's including shipping, supplies, and everything. 91 cents an item. So as far as what our tax bill was, we're actually in a net positive, so we make more money sending it to her than paying the tax ourselves. So that's pretty awesome. That's the kind of stuff I love, when and then it blesses her too, right? She gets to stay home with her baby and she gets to work when she wants. It's a win-win. So, okay, so OA strategy. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because if you guys are used to, say, wholesale or retail arbitrage or private label, the OA is different in that you want to buy wide. And so you don't want to go super deep in any one SKU necessarily. There are some, like last year we bought Pie Face. Even though everybody was like, don't buy a Pie Face, we went ahead and did it. How many did we buy?
I don't think we bought Pie Face, honey.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
We bought something else.
No, we bought
Speak Out. We bought Speak Out. Is that what you're talking about?
No, we bought Pie Face.
We didn't buy Pie Face last year. Anyway.
We bought like 30 of them. So we were willing to go deep because there were thousands and thousands selling every single day, right? So we always go, but with the number of sellers versus the number of sales, and figure out how many we're going to purchase if we want to sell out in a month. 2 months tops. We used to do 3 months, and then we found we didn't like the turn as much. So specifically talking about this, when you make a purchase and you start doing OA, it takes at least 3 months. Even if you are planning on selling all your stuff in 1 month, we have found it takes 3 months of buying your stock so that you have a buildup of stuff in there, as well as, because even though if you think you're going to buy it and sell it within a month, sometimes you'll hold on to it a little bit. Like it'll be 2 months, sometimes even 3, because maybe the price went down, but you look at the Keep a chart and you see that it comes back up. I'm going to be showing you the Keep a chart and all that here in just a little bit. So you're going to hold on to it because you know it keeps hitting the price you want to sell it for over and over. So you're going to hold out. And so after 3 months time, then you have a really good idea of what it's actually providing you. Sometimes people quit too soon. And if you are doing shoes and clothes exclusively, it takes even longer. I'm saying at least a 6-month time frame. The reason being is once some things will get there and they'll sell right away. Some things will get there and they'll sell within the first month. Some things 2 months, 3 months. And what we've been finding with shoes is some are 4 and 5 months. So, but if you think about it like this, so let's say you've been selling clothes and shoes for a year. Well, at any given time in your inventory, you have things that are ready to sell that are just got there, the 1 month, the 2 month, the 3 month, the 4 month, the 5 months. You have stuff in there ready to go and to sell. So what happens is your sales over time will get higher and higher because it's kind of like it's just waiting for that stuff to hit. But minimum with OA, I recommend 3 months. It's a 3-month trial, a 3-month test. And so you have to work out your cash flow and make sure that you have enough cash to keep buying consistently for those 3 months. And then at the end of those 3 months, you can look and see what kind of profit you did. And you'll really know, did it work? How much money did you spend and how much money did you profit? At that point, that's when you know. If you do it in your first month, that's hard because a lot of times when we first started sourcing shoes, I tracked it because we weren't selling any shoes. We ordered our first shoes the end of February, but the shoes didn't hit the warehouse until the end of March. We just had a long turnaround right through there for some reason. So stuff like that happens, and then people get nervous, right? And they panic. And then they stop doing the list, they stop doing it, and then they're like, it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, and then the other sellers panic too because they, you guys are familiar with price tanking, right? If you're an online arbitrage, you know, any of the models, with the exception of private label, you're going to see price tanking, right? And that's why Sherry is talking about going so wide, because yeah, we have some price tanks, and some stuff that we sell, we just break even or we just lose a little bit of money. But it's the stuff that, you know, obviously the ones that are really profitable that make up for it. And then what we find is the ones that are profitable, we see if we can replenish those items over and over again. But the buying and holding that Sherry's talking about allows us to be profitable on more items, because if we just bought it and the price tanked and we just sold it immediately, we just lose out on that money. So it does take a buy and hold strategy, especially with clothes and shoes.
Yeah, and if you bought right, and you know it keeps hitting your price over and over, then you're going to be fine, right? I mean, that's part of the issues. Part of what you want to do is the buying part makes such a difference. Now it happens occasionally, like just recently, one of our sorcerers, they bought something that it almost sounded like I called her a sorceress. I like that. One of our sorcerers, she purchased something that was almost always has sold for $14, and it was selling for $25. But like it just was a one-time spike. So we're selling them for $14. Because if it's one-time spikes, the likelihood that's not going to come back. So that's why you want to buy carefully as you go through the list. But there's just so much opportunity here. And some of the people that I know that are most successful with OA besides us is, and we do this as well, but what they do is they buy the best. They don't, so like some days they might buy $300 worth of stuff or no stuff. And the next day they'll buy $2,000 worth, something like that, right? On a good day, like just recently, our two sorcerers, they purchased like 2,300, something like that in a single day. But then like previous to that, it was like, I think there was a $400 day in there. Because you want to make sure that you're not buying to buy, you want to buy the best. And if possible, so let's move forward so I can show you this in live sourcing. Okay, let's move forward so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So really important, guys, is create your own standards. So this is our sourcing checklist. So first off, what we do is whenever we're looking at a list, is we look at for high profit first. All right. So if I would look through here, I would be looking at this one first.
Yeah, because the reason being is because when you get a list, it's like, you know, things are going to sell out pretty quickly sometimes. So what Sherry's saying is look for the best possible deals first, see if you can snag those, and then go by the less, you know, attractive deals, right?
Yeah, that's why. And also the lower rank or something they'll sell faster. But again, when you start this, you're going to want to check to see if it's in stock, even before you go down the whole path. But, oh, actually, I kind of skipped around here. Okay, first off, you guys want to have your own criteria. So you want to know minimum star level. So like we don't buy things below 3 stars because the returns on them are going to be high. Your ROI, is your ROI 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, you know. Now with OA, I will warn you, for the most part, 50% is like as good as we've figured out how to do. Our minimum is 40%. But I do know some people who do OA, but they have huge cash flows and they go all the way down to 20% because they're happy if they spend $1 and make $1.20, they're making lots of money, but they have a lot of cash flow. So your ROI kind of needs to go based off your own cash flow, how much you can spend. And then profit per item. Now this amount here, when we first started, was like $3. I mean, you know, if it made money, we did it. Matt and I did the whole operation ourselves. Once we started having a prepper and that kind of thing, although I told you about the net positive, we figured at least $6 profit per item is what we're looking for. Now, there are a few things we go down to $5 on. If they're replens and stuff like that we know sell, we know all we have to do is buy them and send them in because it's for $5 more in our pocket every time one of those sells, right? So you get to make your own criteria. And having that criteria when you start a list is huge.
Yeah, and to add to what you're saying there, some people say I only buy stuff that's a minimum like $10 profit per unit. But the way that we look at it is it's how much profit per decision. So if it's maybe, you know, $6 profit per unit, but you can get like 20 units, then that's worth doing, right?
Yeah. Well, and we usually buy at least a couple of anything that we're buying. It's very rare that we buy just one of anything. So then you also want to figure out your own ranks as far as categories and stuff. But what I recommend really is looking at the number of sellers versus the number of sales. So let me go over here real quick and just show you something. So when I say number of sellers, over here you can see, let me go ahead and close that down. You see there's 3 sellers, okay? And so I'm going to click my little viral launch tool. And thank you, Michael, for the recommendation on this. It's changed the way we source, made it faster, better. I did a whole video on it about that we use it for online arbitrage, and somebody commented and was like, for online arbitrage, no way. It's for private label. I was like, no, really, I do. Anyway, so 969 sales. Now, you'll see that there are some slight variations through here. This is really interesting. I do not know why there's differences, but I just kind of take an average, okay? So I'm going to say the 969 is what I'm going to use here. So 969 for the entire listing. Because what is its rank? No. We'll have to go back to look. Okay, so 969, its rank is 1798. Okay, so
It's a lot of shoes.
yeah, it is. I'm just gonna take my 969, have that written down for myself so I don't forget. All right, and then to find out, let's just pretend this item didn't have a variation, that this was the only one there was, and 969 sold. I would just go ahead and divide it by the 3 sellers, okay? That's 323 units I could sell. If I could get my hands on 323 units, I would feel comfortable that I should be able to sell that within a month, 2 months tops. So if that makes sense.
That's where a non-variation listing.
Yeah, I will go through this listing point by point and show you guys how I figure out the size and the color and like estimate the sales from there. So I will show you all that, but I'm just saying for this right here. So you want to figure out your rank percent or your rank number. So like if it's under 100,000 or in the top 0.5%, whatever it is. But again, right here, the sellers with the sales per month overrides the rank. And that's what I mean by that is the however many sales in the month. The other way you can look at sales in a month, which I probably should have a different listing up for this, but is Keepa. If you hover over statistics, oh, that's funny. It only shows you 33 drops per month, but it's at such a low rank. So, but that's really 33 drops in a month.
Could it be for that variation? Just 33 of that variation?
No, because it says sales rank history of parent ASIN and not specific version. So at that rank, they're saying it's about 30 times. The sales drops are about 30 times. So here's the deal on estimates. You just kind of go by what you choose to go by. There's Jungle Scout, there's Keepa, just looking at Keepa. At this low of a rank, you know that a lot of them are selling. So if we were to look at an item that was a lot slower moving, I'm trying to think of an item. Let me go. I know of a slower item. And this will give you a little bit better idea. The viral launch tool is really handy. Jungle Scout also has a free sales estimator, but I don't really recommend it as much because we found that it didn't have the best, it didn't seem as accurate to me, and they don't update very often. So that's just something to think of when you guys are doing that. Viral launch so far has been the best for us. But the other thing is, if you guys are on a limited budget too, you can also look at Keepa. And so I'm just going to show you this with a slower moving item real quick. Anybody have questions too? If at any time you have questions, please just pop them right into the chat box and I will answer them.
Tree says, I'm doing great, excited, nice.
All right, we're just twiddling our thumbs.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. So if you were to change the keep graph to a month, you can see all these little drops, right? Drop, 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 drop. And but we're around 100,000 in home and kitchen. Anywhere between what's that low? Like 39 to 200,000. So if we have it over statistics, it shows that there's 107 drops per month. Now, let's take a look at what Viral Launch says. Sorry, you guys, my computer, I swear, is fast, but when I'm doing a Zoom thing, it is kind of slow, which is why I have the information up already on all the other stuff. Okay, 106. So they're saying 106.
And Keepa was saying 100 and,
ah, what do they do? Okay. Okay. I don't, oh, I clicked on the thing somehow. I'm trying to avoid our faces and I ended up clicking on the thing. There we go. Okay. So that is a way that you can do. Now, like I said.
so that's pretty close, 106, 107.
But the reason this one is close is because of where its rank is. The lower the rank, the more sales per drop. And it's not an exact science. There are other reasons why there are rank drops. So it's just something you want to keep in mind. But basically, I found the best way is to get an estimate of how many you're selling per month. And then let's just take a look at this, since there are 5 people selling this, okay? So can you guys see the notepad that I brought up or no?
You see like a blank screen, kind of?
So we do 106 divided by 5. Let me stop the share for a second and then let me go over here. Let's share the desktop. If I share the desktop there, can you guys see the blank sheet now?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Patrice says yes. Okay, cool, cool.
So I guess I could have just done the calculator. 106 divided by 5. So 21. If I want to sell 20, I could sell 21 in a month would be my guess. So I would buy 20 of these if I could get my hands on them at a profitable price, right? So like if, let's say I lucked onto these for $15, not $1,500, just 15. I would go ahead and buy 20 of those, maybe even 40, because it has a pretty consistent, let me show you. It has a consistent rank. It did go up a little ways through here, but we're going to be coming up on Q4. It sells consistently, but you also look to the price was lower through there. So I would want to make sure that I would still be profitable for me if the price does go back lower the way it was last year. And again, it will depend on, supply, right? How many people have it. But if I could get it really soon and in, I would definitely, if I was buying a 1 month worth, I would buy the full 20. So does that make sense to you guys?
And then you want to show with that shoe what you do on that shoe?
I will. But let me finish going over. Okay. So back to what I was saying, you want to make sure that you guys have your own criteria, what kind of profit you need, what kind of ROI you need. And also you want it to be kind of realistic, because I've talked to some people and they're like, I can't find anything. And I'm like, why not? They're like, well, I want $10 profit. Or $10 profit, and I want a 70% ROI. And I'm like, you're probably looking at RA then, or private label. Like, those are the only two places I know that those kind of numbers are really possible. Now, again, that's not to say you won't find some great ROIs, but just overall, I found that around 40%, 40 to 50%, you can hit through there. I know people who, like, if they lower it to 30, they even have more through, but again, they have higher cash flows. And then profit, I don't really recommend much under 5 unless you're getting started. When you're first getting started and you're doing your own prep and everything, you can put it wherever you're comfortable, because there's just something about getting stuff in there. Even if you only make $3 on it, you start feeling more confident and more, like it's working. But as soon as you can, I'd say minimum $5. Do you factor in that there will be more sellers in buying from a list?
That's a good question. Yeah.
So on that, right, there were 20 sellers, or 5 sellers.
And if it was on a list, you can bet there was going to be more sellers on it for sure.
But here's the thing. Let me go. So I don't do the how many. I just have the Keepa, how you can turn it on. It'll tell you if they're, like, how many they have in stock, if they have the option. So you see here, only one, only 2. So let's say this is on a list, right? There's only 4 of these in stock currently. So I'm going to say by the time mine get there, all of those will be out of stock. So even though, and let's say on the list, right, let's say that there are 25 people, 20 or 30 people, whatever there is, right? I know not everybody is going to hit this. Not everybody's going to get this deal. Not everybody's going to source that day. This isn't going to work for necessarily everybody. And so I just go ahead, and if there's enough rank there, I don't calculate less, because I know that the people who are currently on there will sell out, if that makes sense. So that's my personal thing. Now, if I'm on a list with 50 or 100 people, then I do.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is, like, certain lists that we've been on have more experienced sellers on them, just from our experience, and those sellers tend to keep their prices high. But then there are certain lists that have higher turnover, where they bring in a lot of newbie folks, and those products you can see the price tank a little bit more. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so if it's a list of 50 or 100, I would kind of take that into consideration. So let's say on that product that I was showing you where I would buy 20, I still probably would buy the 20, but I would plan on them selling over 2 months, if that makes sense. Again, just because of how steady it's been over time. But if, that's kind of a judgment call on my side, right?
Yeah. And sometimes what you'll see is, a great product, bunch of people jump on it, price goes down, but then the sales go up. And then the people who are selling at break even or lose a little bit or only make a little bit of money, especially by Q4, a lot of them are gone. And if you just hold and wait and just hold and wait, hold out, then you'll be one of the top sellers a lot of times. Not always, but a lot of times that's what happens.
One of my favorites is we were selling these pans. And so maybe that wasn't the pans. Anyways, it was a product. We had about 10 of them in there. And the price tanked we held on to them. As soon as the price hit where we were, we sold out. We sold out like in a day. It was a great sales day. And what was happening is the rank dropped because of the price tank. So it was being seen by a lot more customers. And it didn't matter that the price rose. They bought anyway. And that swing is really fun to be on because you can get some amazing sales through there.
Yeah, Michael says makes sense. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so this is just
buy and hold.
This, and we do a little bit of that, but not a ton.
Yeah.
Okay, so choose. So let's just go through. This is how you would start sourcing the list. This is how we do it. Is we choose the high profit, low rank items first. We check to see if it's in stock. So you I said exceptions, shoes and clothing, or anything with lots of variations. We want to. You'd also want to check Amazon to see if the sales price warrants further research. Okay. So what I mean by that is this. One, I would go here and I would check and see if it's in stock. And look, a whole bunch of these sizes are still in stock. It shows $64.99, but it's a buy one, get one half off plus 15% off. All right. So at that price, At that price, that's this one here. I picked the highest profit. Okay. And the ROI is 112%.
Store price is $41.43.
Yeah.
And,
now again, you'd have to buy more than one shoe, just to be clear, to make that work.
Estimated sale price 110.
Right.
So
we know it's in stock. So then my next step would be to come over to here. And I would check out the variation viewer. Now the variation viewer is RevSeller. I just had a break for a second in my brain, which is this tool here. Now you guys, I don't know if you've seen my training. I do have a free RevSeller training. We love RevSeller. It has just fixed a whole bunch of our life for us. If you're logged into Seller Central, which I'm not right this moment, right here, this would be green if I can sell it and red if I can't. And if you can't, you can click the red button. It'll take you right into add a product and you can click request approval, which I recommend doing on everything. Anytime you're sourcing, do that and see if you get approved. We have had tons of people say that they're getting approved, even newer sellers, some of them still not, but if you just keep at it, we have found like now, because we've sold for a long time, pretty much everything we request approval on, we get approved on. There are a few things, right? So that's what I recommend there. And then you would come down here to the...
So it pays to be a seasoned seller and just hang in there.
Yeah, the more that what we've been finding is if you guys are taking care of Amazon's customers, you're selling good product, you guys have nice metrics, Amazon is more likely to allow you past some of these gates, but it just takes some time and consistency. So, okay, so I went to variation viewer. Now let's come down here. What I mean by does the price, well, first, actually, you can take a look at Keepa and you can take a look at it. So this is 3 months of Keepa and you can see that the buy box here, there was a period of time where the buy box went all the way down to like 80 bucks. And now again, this you see right here, it says shows for the parent ASIN, not specific versions. So that's important on shoes because sometimes, let's say an oddball size that is not selling very well will be a low price. So this is just kind of to take into consideration here. But this shows in July it sold at this price, and in August it sold at this price. So it's like if it keeps bouncing back up to that price, then I would be happy with this. It's bounced up there a few different times. So you come back up here, and you can look at the variation viewer, and you can filter it just by color, or you can filter it just by size. So let's say we're really stuck. What we want to buy are the size 10s. Let's just say we want to buy size 10s. We know it because I know there's a whole bunch of size options, but let's pretend that on Famous Footwear, only size 10 was available, okay? So we would come over here and we would click size filter right here. I'm going to just clear them all. And then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to click size 10s. In a second. There it is. Okay. So you can look at these size 10s. Now, this color is selling for, is that the color we want to sell? No. Is selling for 110. This color here is selling for 75. Then you got 100, 100, 100, 108, 94. But this one is going to be red. So you want to take into consideration when you're buying shoes and clothes is think about the colors, right? So the color that we're looking to sell is this gray with the orange underneath, right? It's pretty on trend right now. It looks good. That black one that's selling for less is very different. I mean, people are most likely not, if they want a gray shoe, they're not going to be like, oh, I'll pay less and buy the black. Now, sometimes we found like there were these basketball shoes. One was a black, white, black, and one was a black, black, white. They looked so much alike. And one was selling like $40 less than the other. And I was like, yeah, I would definitely buy this $40 less pair. So you just kind of look at the overall. Still, this is pretty well in line, except for these multicolor. Oh, well, you can understand why that price is so low. Oh, shoot. So I would feel okay about this because several of the pairs are selling at 110. Okay. So that's what I mean by that. Is one, is it a one-time price spike? Two, are the other colors selling for similar, right? Or, you know, is it like this? Is it more on trend? Is it more what is selling now? Stuff like that. So those are the questions I ask myself to start, okay? Then I would, you check to see if you can sell it, which is, like I said, up here, it'll be green or red if you have RevSeller. If not, you need to do it on your Amazon Seller app or in Seller Central. One or the other. And then I'm just going through this little checklist I have. Then I go ahead and calculate the profit, okay? And everything on our list should be at least 3 stars. The ROI and all that is above, for the clothes and shoes is for profit is above $10 and the ROI is always above 40. You know, the ROI here was 112. So I mean, like, we're good, right? All of it fits our criteria. I know that already. So then what I would do is I would come in here and it was 969 splits. 969 shoes or sold a month, okay? Now we're going to go over here and I'm going to look at, so what this is at the top, these are recent verified purchase review counts, okay? So what this means is, let's say this listing, let's say those original black Nikes, this listing's been on Amazon for 15 years. It wouldn't have been, but you get my point. And so, like, you don't care if maybe it was popular 10 years ago and had a ton of reviews. You need to know what's more recent. So that's why this is important. It's just recent reviews. Okay, there's a couple of questions. It is being recorded, and yes, we will be sending it out to the list. So you go pick up those kids. And then where do you get that chart? I don't see it when I'm on Amazon.
That's RevSeller, I think. Is that what
this one that I'm looking at right now with the variations? Yes. Okay, that is RevSeller. So RevSeller, we have a coupon code if you guys are interested. It's $80 for the year with the coupon code, and you get, I think it's a free month trial. And if you guys are sourcing clothes and shoes, I don't even know how to do it without anymore. So if you're interested in that, we can put a link in. We love it. And for $80 for the year, it's just amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah. How can you get that to me? Because I have the link.
Hey, Patrice, will you just send Sherry a private message on Facebook and just say I'm interested in the red seller?
Actually, I can, we can put it in the chat. Let me,
Yeah.
I will put it in the chat before we're done too. Okay. All right. So right here, these are the reviews. Okay. So it breaks it down by size and then also by color. So the reason why this is important is it gives you an idea of recent reviews, how popular the color that you're going to be selling is. So like down here, this Legion green metallic pewter black is not nearly as popular as the cool gray black white, which is what we want to sell. That's what this is right here. See, cool gray black white. So it is the second most popular color. The black white cool gray is the most popular color. So size 11 is the most popular size sold lately. Size 10 is really close. So like I would feel good about all of that. But to get the actual numbers, this is how I do it. I add up all of these reviews.
Total number of views. Yep.
So
let's just say, for argument's sake, it's 200.
41 plus 38 plus 37 plus 25 plus 24 plus 23 plus 19. Oh, not 198. Plus 19 plus 17 plus 16 plus 12 plus 9 plus 2. 263 reviews, okay? So to get a percentage, okay, so let me go over here. No. 263 reviews, 969 sales per month. Okay. So the size we want here is size 10. So there's 37 of the 263 reviews. So we're going to do 37 divided by 263. That's 14. Okay. So 37 divided by 263 was how much?
14.
14%. Okay. So 14% of the shoes. So let's do this. So that's 14%. So then you would take 14% times 969. That's the sales. Okay. So times 969. That's going to be 136 of this color total. Okay. 136 of this color sold. Of the color sold per month. Okay. Now we're going to go over here, and this is the same number of reviews as over here. Should be. Do you think it is?
Yeah, it should be.
I guess I've never added them both up, but they should be. So we know it's 20. Okay. So what we want to do is we would go
in 20 different colors?
No, sorry. There are 20 reviews on the color that we want.
Oh, okay.
So we do 20 divided by the 263. 20 divided by the 263 is the 7.6%. Okay. So 20 of the reviews divided by the total number of reviews, 263, equals 7.6%. So then what we would do is take that 7.6% and times it to this 136. Whoops. 7.6% times CX times 136. What happened there? I must have my number lock off. 136. There we go. Equal times 136.
So there you go. That's per month.
Mm-hmm. So the estimate is that 10 pairs sell per month of the size 10 in the gray. I'm just going to put gray, not gray, black, whatever the color is. Okay, so that's the estimate, is that 10 pairs sell per month. All right. Now, does that make sense, you guys? So I'll run through it just so you figure out the number of sales per month, and then you get the reviews, the recent reviews. Then you take the number of reviews for that specific size and you divide it by the total number of reviews to get the percentage. Then you would go ahead and times that percentage to the sales per month right here, and that's how many of that color sold per month. Says, yes, that's exactly what I was hoping to see. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Then you do this, repeat the same thing with the the size. So it was 20 reviews divided by the total number of reviews gave us 7.6%. Then you would take that 7.6 and times it inside the color, the 136, for 10 pairs. Okay, now you're looking here and there are 3 sellers. So for size 10, hold on. It's not showing that, but there is. No, not 9.5. There are no sellers of the color we want, 9.5. Gosh. Do it again. 10. And that was the color. Right? No, that's not the color. This is the color. Okay, there we go. So then you come over here and, whoa, okay, I better let it catch up. I keep like dinging it and it's jumping all over. Okay, so one additional thing I would do here is I would click the new, 3 people are selling it. So you can see that 2 of them are at 110. One of them is at 119, and it looks like they are not a prime seller. So they wouldn't even, I don't think I would even care about them. So I would say you can do it one of 2 ways depending on how aggressive you want to be, right? We know there's 10 per month, and I could divide it by the 2, or I could divide it by 3. I could divide it by, like those 2 plus me. See how they only have 1 in stock each? I'm not really worried. I feel like I would feel comfortable buying 8 of these. But again, now on the buying side, I probably wouldn't buy more than 5. So just to make sure that I don't have a problem with Famous Footwear going, why are you buying all my Nikes? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that's, one of the disadvantages of online arbitrage is that retailers don't like resellers. So
not all of them.
Not all of them. Walmart loves resellers.
They do.
Target doesn't. There are stores that don't. Right. But yeah, like Sherry's talking about, you buy, 4 or 5 pairs, probably doesn't seem that suspicious. As soon as you start buying 20, 50 pairs.
Most places won't even sell you 20 pairs of Nikes, but like even in store and stuff. So that's just kind of, so I would probably buy 5 of the Nike. If it was a store that I knew was good with resellers and we did this same number and everything, I would buy the full 10. Just because these guys only have 1 left in stock each. Okay? But again, you could also divide it by the 2 and by the 5.
Another thing
go ahead. It just really depends on how aggressive you want to be and where your cash flow is as well. Because that's the other part to consider, is your own cash flow. Because it's going to cost you about $41 per shoe. If you bought 10 of them, that's going to be $481. Now,
$10. Go ahead.
If you bought 10 of the items, that'd be $481. So is that your whole budget for the week? Is that your budget for today, right? Because then you might want to look around and look at the other shoes on from Famous Footwear and order, like just 2 of a few, of a few of them, or So again, it'll depend on your own budget. It'll depend on where you are. If I wouldn't, this is what I would say. I wouldn't recommend, if your whole budget would be shot by buying 10 of these, to do that. I would recommend buying 2 of each pair that hits your criteria and fits for you. Because again, then you'll be wider. You'll have more opportunity to sell across the platform. The colors that you buy or the styles or whatever, you have less likelihood of all of them having an issue. And that was our whole point about buying wide. Because yes, we have people who get started and they start feeling like everything tanks. But if you guys buy wide enough, that's just not it just doesn't feel that way anymore, because so much of our stuff gets there and sells right away. It'll sell within a month, 2 months, 3 months. Like you have to be prepared for that eventuality with online arbitrage and with lists.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, there was something I was going to say.
Sorry.
That's okay. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Okay. So I would buy that. Again, I would make sure that I did whatever it took to make sure.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Okay. So had to do with keeping in mind. Oh, like another thing too is maybe not just as a standard rule, but like, how big is the markup on the item too? Because that might determine how many you buy too. Like the higher price it is, and the more history that shows that it just keeps staying at the higher price, and the lower you can get it means less risk for you. So that might determine how many you buy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So using your own intuition, not just numbers, but some intuition as well.
All right. So we went ahead and did that. We know it meets this criteria. We went ahead and calculated the profit. Oh, we didn't actually calculate the profit. Let me do that. No, I'm going to the wrong place. Okay. So 41.43. Let's go back to the listing. Go back to and actually calculating the profit is probably more important to do that first rather than how I did it. But one of the things, I already knew it was good because of the buy price, the sell price, and the profit shown on the list. But I always double check. So.
Yeah, and the reason she's doing it in this order, there's an actual order, because of time. Saves you time. First thing, look for the highest items. Second thing, do this. Third thing, do this. That way she didn't go through all of this work on a shoe that's not even in stock, right?
We're saying that because that was also, we've had newbies, we did it ourselves, where it's like we did all this work and Fed was like, yes, amazing, and then it wasn't in stock.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see here, sell price of 110, buy cost 42. It was actually 41 and change, but I just put 42. Net 45, ROI 105, margin 41%. I love those numbers. I would get that if you look at that, and if you just sell those all day, every day, your business would be booming.
And even if the price is, let's say it drops down to 90.
So let's mess with that a little bit. Let's go ahead and put this at 100, because we did see some of the other shoes at 100. So that's still at an 85% ROI and a 37% margin. Like, I would feel good about that. You can even mess with this, see like what break even would look like for you. Would 80 be break even, or 80 is not going to be break even? So see, this is still a 46% and a 24% margin. So I would feel super confident in this shoe. Okay. And like I said, I would buy as many as and also some people buy for 2 months at a time. It really depends on your cash flow, right? If your cash flow is big enough that you can hold on a little longer, then you can do that. But if you aren't, then you want to buy for the 1 month. 1 month, 2 tops. All right, then. So we looked at the number of sellers and the sales per month. We figured out our order quantity. It fits all of our profit and all of our criteria. I looked at the Keepa and it looks good. I'm happy with it. Now, one thing is on a shoe, sometimes this is for shoes. So you do sometimes want to look at seasonal. So you want to look at Keepa for the entire year. This is on like gifts, items that say sandals or maybe snow boots. That would be a really good thing to check. So you come over here and you click all. So it only gives me stuff back till May and May. Interesting. And its data is a little wonky.
That's, yeah.
I would still buy it. But anyway, on certain items, like you'll see like Valentine's stuff, it's through, you know, January, February, you'll see a big spike, and then a lot of times nothing. We bought these little Valentine heart wreaths, and we didn't get them sold by the Valentines. It's like, I mean, I was paying people to take those suckers by the end.
Yeah.
I think the last couple we even had Amazon destroy because literally it wasn't worth the money anymore. So those are just, think of things like that. Seasonal. Is this more of a back to school item? Is there, you know, any reason for a big spike? Let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, we checked with all that stuff, the marketplace sellers, we looked at all that. Okay, oh, then before you make your purchase, you're gonna wanna make sure that they really are identical, okay? So double check, like, so Nike sometimes, you know, like the swoosh could be white, everything else will be the same, but the swoosh is white. So you wanna just double check and make sure, look at that picture, you know, like the little orange things next to the laces, is everything identical? And I would say it is, even though the oranges look a little different.
The title.
Yeah, you want to look, this is the flex, is that the, yep, see, same. You can run through the bullet points and the product description. There's not really a product description on this one. All right, here. So I would just check the bullet points, make sure that nothing, there doesn't say something crazy like some seller put on, like occasionally sellers will try to corner the market by like, includes lace holder or something. You wouldn't want a list on that. So just make sure, right, that all that stuff makes sense with all the stuff that this talks about right here. Okay, and it all matches. We're good to go. And then we would make our purchase. So on the purchase side, a couple of different things. This shows that Price Blink, let's see, where can I put that though? Has coupons, but you can see there's a coupon here. You need to use that. So yeah. Ebates, we use Ebates all the time. This is 4% cash back.
There are others.
There are. So you can go
Top
to Cashback Monitor. Okay. Cashback Monitor. Any given site here. Okay. So you can see here Walmart, eBay, like it has all kinds of stuff. So we're looking for Famous. So let's put in Famous. Footwear. Okay. All right, so this shows you can get 6% from Mr. Rebates, 5% from You Promise, 4% from Ebates. Now, a couple of things. There's a balance to this. You don't want to spend all of your time trying to track down the extra percent cash back because, you know, that's 60 cents, okay? I mean, or 40 cents. Is it worth it? Is it worth your time to just do a ton? I don't think so. I would recommend signing up for a few of these. So it's like for us, we have Ebates, You Promise, and Mr. Rebates. You guys do, you know, whatever floats your boat. I definitely recommend Ebates though, because they are on a lot of things, even if it's only 1%. It's nice. Like my Ebates check this month, or this coming to me, is over $700. It's going to help pay for our Tahoe trip. So, I mean, it adds up. It's really awesome. Okay. Then also it talks about credit card points. If say you have the Chase Freedom, right now there's 3 points on every dollar spent, stuff like that. So it just gives you a little bit of a snapshot, right, of what's your best bet. So for us, we would, instead of, when we go to make the purchase, instead of going through Ebates, we would go through Mr. Rebates since we have that. Does that make sense? Then we would just go ahead and do the purchase like regular. We have Honey installed so that it'll look for coupon codes. Again, I do not think that on this one there's going to be a better coupon code than the buy one, get one half off 15% off. So one thing to note is if you do use Honey and it finds an old coupon code, it can sometimes knock out the good coupon code. So you just watch your totals. If it changes, then just go ahead and put best in class back in there, right? So that's how we do that. We make our purchase. Oh, and we also use rewards credit cards because then we have travel points. One of our favorites is Southwest because we fly, like our trip to Tahoe, we're flying there for free. So again, I recommend being able to pay off those cards. Don't pay the interest. That's not what we're suggesting here. But using the credit cards, sometimes depending on the card, it'll protect your purchase better. And then the second part is you're earning rewards. All right, and then that's more cash back, which as much cash back as I can walk away with in my pocket, I'm happy. All right, so I go ahead and I purchase it, and then I create a SKU. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you. I put stuff right into a spreadsheet, just like this.
Now let's slow this down for anybody who's new. So the SKU is, it's the identifying number to an item with Amazon, with the seller.
It's your own SKU. It's an MSKU, which is your own, it's a merchant SKU, your own SKU that you can track, okay? And you can create it however you'd like. So let me show you. So let's say we bought this shoe, okay? Now what I would do is I would come in here and I would, okay, there's a couple of different things. You can go ahead and select this if you want and copy it there, or if you go into the variation viewer, sorry, hold on.
Wherever it is down there, you can just copy it down there.
Like you see this where it has the ASIN, you can click right here and it will copy the ASIN right to your clipboard. So when I did this earlier, I would have done this differently. So, oh, and the other thing too is, so we just pretended that the size 10 was profitable. But if you look, just real quick before we move on here, if you look here, it's this top one. Sizes 8, 9.5, and 10 are all that, on our list, we say that those are profitable. So that right there, I mean, you might want to buy some from each. So, where was I at? I was on this. Okay, so you would come here and we have the, what color? Cool gray, black, white. I don't know where it is. It's gotta be here somewhere.
I don't think it really matters because all we're showing really is a spreadsheet.
That's true.
Let's just pretend you found it. So the reason the spreadsheets are important.
So you want to copy it here, click it there, then over here on your spreadsheet.
The reason spreadsheets are so important is because we're doing like, $100 purchase here, a $300 purchase there, $800 purchase here. It all adds up at the end of the day, and it helps us go back to those items, and we can see, did they get to, our, what's it called, our prep center, and we can highlight them in different colors to know that. We have our staff highlight them in different colors, and it just tracks everything that way. Then you can see, like what Sherry's going to talk about, the custom SKU.
Yeah, we will.
You put in the ASIN.
Can you remind us why you like to track items like this on top of? Okay, so the reason, well, when you make the purchase, here, let me show you real quick. So just if you guys go into this screen instead, this title here will have the size and the color in it, which is nice when you go to put it in the OA tracking. Paste. Okay, and then you can get the SKU or the link right here, so you can go back at any time, right? And it was $41.63 per item, right? And the day's date is 8/17/17, and the price I'm going to sell it for is $110. And
now this is key right here, what
yeah,
Shay's talking about.
so your supplier. So this came off of our arbitrage finds list. So I would call this AF clothes, or probably I would do AF shoes. AF shoes. And then I would create a custom SKU. Now our custom SKU is going to be like this. Famous Footwear. And it's going to be the date that we purchased it. So 08/17/17. And the price that we purchased it for, $41.63.
Now, okay, let me just slow down a little bit. So where she said supplier AF shoes, notice she didn't do Famous Footwear as a supplier.
Well, we have that in store name.
Yeah.
This, doing your supplier by the list name is really key, because when you input it into Inventory Lab, you guys can do supplier profitability, which I will be showing here in just a minute.
That way, you know, like if you're on our AF clothes and shoes list, how profitable is our clothes and shoes list? If you're on the 25 list, or if you're any product list, how profitable is that list? And see, Inventory Lab is going to be able to keep track of all that for you.
Yeah, and that's key for us. Then the custom SKU, we have a store code, the date, and then the price. Now the other thing is,
which is also key. So guys, when you, can I intervene here? Because when you have all these items in here, like picture you were in your repricer, right? And you have all these items in here and you're like, dang it, how much was that shoe? Well, then you can go by that custom SKU and then you can say, oh, it was $41.63, which means I can sell it for 60 and break even, or whatever. I can sell it for 80 and make like, you know, 19 bucks or whatever.
Yeah, because the custom SKU will show up in your repricer if you have one, and it will also be on Amazon. So as you're repricing, you know automatically how much it cost you.
You guys get that, man? That's not awesome? We just gave you like a ton of good stuff there, man. That's going to help you guys so much.
Okay, now let's finish this, and then I will answer your question. So Southwest. So let's say we used our Southwest card, and the total was like 200 and whatever, 200, and I would times it. I would actually do the math, but let's just say 205. Whoops. Okay, 205. Now, there was a question here on why do we put this stuff in here on top of Inventory Lab? Now, this is why. One, when you make your purchase, you want to sell it for 110. But let's say you get it. Let's say there was a delay. Let's say whatever, right? It gets to you. Let's say it's selling for 95. And you're like, wait, I wanted to sell it for 110. But you wouldn't remember that necessarily unless you went back to the list and looked. So having it all together right here is so crucial for us because it has extra information that we need all in one spot. Also, this is how we get the information to our prepper. This is how, so that they can input the correct information into Inventory Lab easily when they're creating the shipment. Now, I do know some people who input their stuff right into Inventory Lab as they source, and that's okay too. You can do that. One, it won't track where your payments are from. So like for us, we have a few different cards. We need to know which card this purchase went on to, so that if there's an issue, I can go and look and see, did I get refunded? Did I not? And I don't have to go through and I'm like, is it the American Express? Is it the Southwest? Which one is it? You know. And also, go ahead.
Yeah, another thing with online arbitrage is you'll order 20 and you'll get 19 or something like, or you order 20 and you get 21. And you're like, what happened there? You'll be able to create notes on there on the notes section on the spreadsheets, so you know exactly what's going on.
Right. So what we do is like this. Let's say, oh, whoops, that was to Amazon. That was the wrong place. The Amazon link goes in there. To Amazon. So let's say we only get 4. Okay, when it actually gets here, we only get. There we go, 4. And we're going to say missing 1. Okay. And then let's say we called them. They were like, they were out of stock. We check our card. We were refunded. We check, yes, we were refunded. And then we might put notes. So let's say before, or it could be one was damaged. It could be something, right? Then we would put notes here, like for our person who helps us account manage and stuff. You know, it's like, or she'll put notes and I'll need to look at them. So it's like waiting on one, you know what I mean? Something like that. Or she'll put the tracking number of the new one that's being sent out if it was a mistake, stuff like that. So this is where we utilize all of that. And then when we're done with it, we send it to our prepper. Now, if it has that means it went to her, right? It went to Danielle. And we would turn it yellow. That means it's at our prepper. If something happens and we are missing one, then we turn it back white, and then we wait until it's resolved. If it's resolved, then I turn it red. I know it was resolved, but not all of them went in there. If it's blue, it came to us and it was resolved. So I can look through our spreadsheet really fast and know what's happening. And then when you have a prepper or when you have stuff like this, you have all this together. So like for her, we send her, let's see, we send all of that information all the way to there. And she has her own spreadsheet that has all this information. So we can see how many went to Amazon. She has the cost, she has the supplier, she has the SKU. So let me show you back over here.
You guys are troopers for hanging on here.
Yeah.
This is some detailed stuff.
Okay, right here, when you guys go to do your inventory lab stuff, this is where you put your supplier. So for us, what we do is when we would just call it a name. So like this would be silver. That would be that list. Or the AF list, whatever it is, right? AF 25, AF clothes and shoes, or AF shoes. However, you make sure it's the same every time. You can create it. We also put who is sourcing it. So there for a while, we had both of them sourcing silver lists. And so we'd have a Brittany silver and a Jill silver. And then this is where you create your own custom SKU. Now, Inventory Lab will go ahead and do a SKU for you that has the date, the quantities going to be sent in, and the price automatically. We go ahead and do this just because it's what we've always done. So you guys can choose, but definitely make sure you've got your price in there so that it's so easy for you to reprice and all of that. And then right here is after you guys have done that, when you go to reports, if you just go drop down to these are awesome. The ASIN profitability, SKU profitability, supplier profitability, and category profitability. So like if you guys were just starting in shoes, you might want to check and see how it's going. Again, it's going to be more powerful if you do it over a longer period of time. It gives you a much better idea what your actual ROI is. Because when things are brand new, like let's say you join a list brand new, sometimes in a couple months, you'll have a really massive high ROI, but then the ROI will go down a little bit over time because there's stuff on hand still. So let me show you, sorry. So this is just kind of an idea here. So if by supplier, you can look at the percentage of your revenue, you can look at your profit, you can look at your ROI, you can look at what you have on hand. And so like right here, let's do TA. So this is Jill using TA. The ROI was 39%. Now that ROI is going to be pretty solid over time because we've been doing TA for several months. But something say brand new, like this gated, okay?
If you're not familiar with TA, it's tactical arbitrage, just making sure everybody's on the same page.
So right here, gated was at a 47% ROI, which is good. But I'll tell you now, our current gated items, because of how of where we are, we're like just selling the end of it because we stopped selling it. Our ROI has gone way down, right? So it gives you you want to kind of over time is where you know how good things are, how long it takes to sell and all of that. So for us, we are usually on a list at least 2 months. In 2 months time, I can usually tell if it's for sure not working. 3 months time really gives me an idea how profitable it is. And then I take a look, what had happened, we had 3 lists that we were sourcing really continuously. This was before we had our own lists. And we had sourced them for about 3 or 4 months, maybe 6. It was probably 6 months. And then we looked at them side by side in the same time period, and one of them far surpassed the other ones as far as the amount of money we were making in profit, and it's in the profit. Another one surpassed the others in ROI, and we were making some good profit. And then the last one was not making as good a profit or as good of ROI, and it was more expensive of a list. So those are the kinds of things you can look at when you set it up, like with the custom SKUs.
So there you go. Whew. Man, feel like you're like a spray with a fire hose there. It's good stuff though. You guys digging that? There's a lot of good information there.
And any other questions, guys? And I can go back and look at stuff too.
Just type in if you're still alive. Let's just hear that.
Yes, brain freeze, LOL.
Brain freeze, yeah. But the cool thing is you'll have this recorded, so you'll have access to this. Alive, Jackie says. Okay, good.
I know sometimes, so see, this kind of stuff, I kind of like it because it's oh man, when I learned that like I could color code my spreadsheets so I could just look at them really fast, I was like, yes. But I know that's not everybody's jam, right?
But yeah, you can see like with online arbitrage, there's like a lot of moving parts to it, right? And this kind of allows all these moving parts to be, we just kind of looked at it and how do we get this systematized, simplified, so it just works, just flat works.
Oh, okay, cool. So she just started. You haven't sold anything yet, but you've been an Amazon customer for years and you've been doing merch by Amazon. Cool. Yeah, cool. And there's a lot of stuff here available for people. And that's, List made such a big difference for us. Amazon has made such a big difference for us. So we're really happy that we got to share this with you guys. And I'm thankful for you guys for being here. You're not really authorized to sell Nike, and that'll happen. There are definitely shoes and stuff that you aren't going to be able to sell or close. Go ahead and click, request approval. Just keep doing that along as you go. Again, like I said, over time, after you've sold some stuff, we've been finding more and more people are ungated. Now, again, and this is kind of why we say wide, not really deep. Stuff happens, right? Because we stopped selling Nike for a little while. We have started a little bit since then, just because it seems like it's even back out again. But we're not buying like tons of Nikes at any one time, right? Yes, I do recommend Viral Launch over Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout is free though, so that is nice. But the Viral Launch Market Intelligence, I have found its algorithms and stuff are better, and they update them every night. The issue with Jungle Scout, like on Jungle Scout still, even though clothes and shoes are one category, they're still listed separately on Jungle Scout. So you have to kind of guess. And that was recommended to us by Mike. And I mean, it's just been a game changer for us. Okay, so I just realized that making 29 cents on an item that keeps selling every day. Oh, okay. So with this information, you have better knowledge. Yes, you like the idea of ordering and holding until you see the spike. Yeah, again, just make sure you figured that out when you order to.
Yeah, just know what to expect ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, with
and
as
that
much
just comes
as you
from
can.
experience. To be honest with you, too.
Yeah,
you'll learn like certain items do hold their price and other items don't, and certain items on certain lists do better than other items.
Yeah,
you'll learn from experience for sure.
Should I get the web app or extension? Okay, so we have the extension, and it's the Market Intelligence, because Viral Launch has other products as well. So Market Intelligence, and it's the extension, and that's what we use. When you buy the extension, you can go on to Viral Launch and put in stuff, and it'll bring information up for you. So, all right, cool, guys. Any other questions at all? Because we're totally down to answer some questions. Oh, I was going to put the ROI in there. Who asked for the ROI? Or Rev Seller.
Yeah. I think it was Patrice.
Patrice?
Yeah.
Patrice is still on here. Okay.
I think she sent you a message on Facebook though.
Okay. Let me grab the RevSeller link right now. That way you can get it and I won't forget. Not there. Just 1 second. And if anybody else has questions, please type them in and then we'll answer them and we'll be done for the day. No, wrong. No, that's it. There it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, there you go. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, deal 420 is the coupon code, and you don't actually, you go and you can download it and you can hook it up to your seller account and all that. And then after the trial is over, then you know, like you'll lose access to it. You have to go into it and you'd have to put in your credit card at that point. And if you use the deal for 20, it will give it to you for 20% off. So, all right, cool. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for being on the list.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Okay, we'll see ya.
All right, take care, guys.